When I heard about Super Bullet Break, for some reason I thought it would be a JRPG. You know, one of those indie old school pixelated JRPGs. When I then realized that this would be a card battle game, I was rather surprised. But hey, since I love card battle games, I am all for it, especially if fan service is included for all the cultured brothers amongst us. So let's start then. Super Bullet Break supposedly is the very first game developed by Big Side whatever Inc., a fairly new Japanese studio. You can play this on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and PC. Obviously you are seeing footage from the Nintendo Switch version. And it was published by P-Cube. If you don't know who they are, they tend to publish Japanese games in North America and Europe, like White A, Metal Max Xeno Reborn, Tormented Souls, Dust Diver, Gun Pixies and Akiba's Beat, or Valkyrie's Drive, among many others. But never forget one thing, they were forced to cancel the localization of Omega Labyrinth Z. Regardless, Super Bullet Break starts you off with bright visuals. I mean, just look at it. The colors are sharp and I quite like it. Sure, graphically it's not all that special, but it still looks quite good. Considering that this is the first game from Big Side, whatever, then it looks damn good actually. So, good job. And as you can see, this is a game for gamers. I mean, just look at this room. That's a nerd's room with posters from games that are popular within this game, manga books on the table, and what is that? Holy shit! Is that an Atari 2600? Well, okay, not exactly a 2600. It looks like a mix of a 2600, a Sega SG-1000 that uses Famicom cartridges. For those that don't know, the NES we know in the West is called Famicom in Japan. And is that an old radio? Man, she's old school and I like it. I will mention this now because we need to take a look at the other rooms as well. You will be able to unlock 3 more characters as well, and each character has its strengths during battle. And since you can take a look at the rooms, let's check those out. Now, she's more of a rich chick that is also playing on a Switch, and she's actually playing Super Bullet Break, as seen here. And is that the PlayStation 4 with a Super Famicom controller? She is obviously playing on a Switch as well, but at the same time also on a PC, because this screen is one of the levels in the game, and seemingly she lost the battle because the red color only happens when you fail to beat an enemy in the game. Okay, sorry guys, the curiosity got the better of me. I simply had to check what they had in their rooms. But since that's done, let's move on. The story here is that your beloved online games are not playable anymore. Or rather, the beloved games of the characters. This happens because of the so-called singular ladies. Those are self-aware AI that have escaped their own games to invade others and make them unplayable by installing the so-called buggos. So, for your games to go back to normal, you have to get rid of those buggos and each singular lady, which is the main boss of each infected game. As you can see here, you have 6 levels to clear, and each of these has their own singular lady as a final boss. So your job should be obvious now, defeat all buggos and singular ladies to make your games playable again. And for that to happen, you need to play a game they call Bullet Break. So yeah, it's a fairly simple story, but you know what? This kind of story might also be a tackle on online gaming in general, because what happens when a cyber attack goes through? Correct, you cannot play online, just ask PlayStation. What could happen if AI gets so good and so smart that they literally become self-aware and do whatever they want, like invade a different game? Correct, what you see in Super Bullet Break could possibly happen. So in a way I think Big Side, whatever, used this game to criticize the possible dangers of online gaming, and they would actually be right. And maybe that's why Akari has an Atari 2600 and an old school TV in her room just in case. But then again, in this conversation, she mentions that she's bored because she cannot play her monochrome game. That actually made me scratch my head, because she clearly has a 2600 and an old school TV in her room, so why is she bored? I get that she is a bit down because of monochrome, but if it were me, I would simply play the 2600. Or I just thought too deep about all of this, I don't know. Well, whatever. Again, the story is pretty simplistic, but not bad at all, for what it is at least. At first you will be forced to use a specific girl on each level because their deck and unique advantage is appropriate for it. Meaning you will use Akari in monochrome, Hikaru in Seasons of Love, and Sumire in Aqua Rhythm Deep. Each of those games has 3 maps, and at the end of each map you will have to fight a boss. Now, the bosses that you will fight in the first 2 maps actually are characters from their respective games, but since they have been affected by bugs, they are malfunctioning. So your job is to free them from those bugs, and they will then fight on your side. On map 3 you will fight one of the singular ladies, and once defeated you will recover the whole game and make it playable again. For example, if you defeat the singular lady in monochrome, then you are technically done with it. Sadly though, you won't be able to experience the game monochrome itself. It would have been cool if the game the girls are trying to debug would be playable as a mini game or something later on. Because remember, we are not actually playing monochrome, we are playing a monochrome themed Bullet Break to free the actual monochrome game. Same goes for Seasons of Love and Aqua Rhythm Deep. And yes, to unlock the next game you literally have to beat your current game. But after you've beaten monochrome Seasons and Deep, you will unlock the 4th game, Phoenix Gunner, which is military themed. And for the first time you will be able to choose which girl you want to use as a main character. As I've said, each girl has their advantages, but honestly, technically you can pick whatever because it barely makes a difference. Since there are 4 singular ladies and you've beaten monochrome Seasons Deep and Phoenix, you are done, right? Heck no, because there still are 3 more games to debug: Bullet Break, Princess Stage and Beastly Brawlers. Defeat Bullet Break against the real mastermind. Or is it? After Bullet Break, the real final section will start, and both Princess Stage as well Beastly Brawlers will have 5 maps you will need to complete instead of just 3. Not only that, but the first 3 maps will be random based on all the previous maps you've already fought on, while the final 2 maps will be fixed. As a final boss, you will have to fight 2 of the 4 singular ladies, but don't worry, you will not fight them separately, but both of them count as one, which make things easier. Defeat Beastly Brawlers and you are technically done, with no real ending for some reason. Sure, you will get the text scroll, but nothing beyond that. No final sequence, no real conclusion, nothing. So I found myself being very disappointed by the game's ending, because there is none, unless you have to unlock all cards and all cartridges, which is something I have not yet done. Now let's talk about how the game works, because it's actually kind of fun overall, but it has a big flaw in it, which I will get to. So you have your starter deck and you will draw 1 new card per turn. Well, okay, the cards here technically are not cards, they are called bullets, so let's use that term instead. Over here is your HP that does not get replenished automatically after every battle. You can only replenish it if you use the bullet effects, visit a cafe where you can replenish a bit of HP for free or a bit more HP for a fee, or use items. These are your available bullets that you will draw from each turn. Each bullet you use will be dropped over here. It's basically your graveyard. Don't worry though, if your deck is empty, all bullets from the graveyard will be revived and go back to your deck. This is your backpack, where you will store items that you can use during battle, but pay attention because you have a limited amount of space. These are the options. This bar indicates actions. I will not go into every single thing that you can see on the screen, but let's go back to this bar. Each card has a number on them in the blue gem. That indicates the number of stripes you will use up on this bar. This number on the red gem indicates in how many stripes the enemy will take action. So yeah, this can be a strategic and sometimes even an intense game for sure, despite it not being overly complex. But it also encourages you to always use different tactics constantly, because thing is this, monochrome bullets work differently than, for example, seasons. Seasons work differently than deep, and so on. And even if you prefer to play with Phoenix Gunner, for example, you won't always be able to, because for you to be able to build a Phoenix Gunner deck, you need a bit of luck to get those bullets in the shop through treasure boxes or even after battle. This basically means that you may not always get the bullets to build a deck that you want, and instead you have to build a beastly brawlers deck or even a mixed deck. Basically, you always have to play with what you get, and that forces you to think a bit outside of the box at times. And I think that's actually a nice idea, especially since you always have to rebuild your deck each time you restart the game, and thus you have to adapt to whatever you've got. However, the major flaw here is the difficulty. It's a bit all over the place. Now sure, on the map you will see 1-star, 2-star and 3-star fields, and that is supposed to indicate the difficulty. But sometimes level 1-star are as difficult as 2-star and vice versa for some reason, especially in later maps. And then when the boss happens, the difficulty will rise quite a lot more. These fields are little events. What happens here is you will meet some girl, and depending on who it is, you either have to answer a question, you have to battle and win for her to join the group, you will receive an item, and so on. Lastly, since the bullets themselves have effects that activate once you use them during battle, each bullet has a secondary effect that gets unleashed throughout the whole battle. If you don't like a specific secondary effect, you can go to the cafe and you can exchange it for free, but the new effect she gets is random. Now, let's talk about the girls, yeah? Of course, because this game has almost 200 girls and mascots for you to discover. All these characters weren't drawn by the same artist and certainly not voiced by the same seiyuu. It's like Super Bullet Break was a collaboration of some sort to promote various artists, seeing how each name for each artist is in each girl's biography. But damn, here are really some waifu material chicks for sure, especially from the Phoenix Gunner set. Here are a few examples for me. But don't worry, if you prefer lollies or animal chicks or succubus or whatever, then there are quite a few in here as well. Unless, of course, you prefer the little mascots, which is weird, but hey, I am not judging. But honestly, this collaboration of artists was actually a nice idea, and the number of girls is quite high. Sure, some girls are the same just in a new, sexier form, but still. And because of the girls, I would say that this game certainly is for all cultured brothers around the world, so embrace the beautiful waifu. Finally though, you will also be able to read some mails from the main characters, and those mails will expand the story a bit further, but not all too much. Most of these mails are just time wasters. Sure, you get to learn a bit about Akari, Hikaru, Sumire, as well Nayuta, but that still is rather, let's call it trivial. So just don't expect too much from it, because most of the mails you receive is throwaway stuff. Visually the game looks quite good, at least for what it is. The game is bright and colorful, so it certainly has that going for it. And since the girls are all bullets and this game is, well, indie game-ish, almost, I didn't expect them to have many animations and stuff, but still, it would have been nice if they had attack animations in 2D or something. You know, with actual movement and stuff. But oh well, what can you do? Since the game is rather low budget, it's, okay, it's fine the way it is. The music isn't anything special or noteworthy, but it's not bad. At least nothing gets annoying. The only noteworthy part here are the voice actresses for each girl. So in the end, this was actually quite a fun game. But you have to like card games, because otherwise not even the nice girls will draw you in. But if you do like card battle games like I do, then you might find a little bit of fun here with a decent dose of fan service.
私は絶対に勝つ！よし、バトルクリアだ！